So the first instance is the diesel amp. As you can see, it's on channel 2. The gain setting is just past 12 o'clock. Again, we've got some nice treble and mid boost because I felt like it just needed it to cut through of the mix. A little bit of a presence boost and taking a little bit of the depth away. And then we are running into a universal audio channel strip. Now, this is just for some subtle EQ. The main one, as you can see there, there's minus 18 dB at just over 2K, but it's a very, very tight Q. It was almost like a whistling, ringing sound. I didn't want to print it with that. So again, using your ears, and I found the frequency and I've taken it out. There's a little bit of a reduction in the higher mids as well, up in the treble section at just over 8K, minus 6.1. It just takes off a little bit of the digital sort of distortion sound that is introduced from the amplifier. I mean, they do a great job at emulating these amps, but I always find that it needs a little bit of additional EQ once you've dialed in a sound on the actual amp itself. And then there's a little minus 1 dB, a notch out, nearly at 400 hertz. Again, a small tight Q, just a little bit of low mid reduction. After that, we are going into a Neve 1073. Mainly using this for just the drive function on the input stage, mainly for a little bit of coloration more than anything, just to soften a little bit more tops, just to make it sound a little bit more rounded. This plugin is absolutely incredible. I love it very much so. It works on pretty much any instrument or drum or percussion. And then we're going into a Studer tape, the A800. 15 IPS, just hitting it just below the red, just to give a little bit of saturation to the guitar sound. And then following that, we are going into an API. And again, we're using this for the saturation drive on the preamplifier on the gain stage. I've also got the EQ turned on, and I'm rolling off a high pass up to, I would say, about 70 hertz. Just to get rid of any unwanted sub-frequencies. And that's the guitar coming in on the DI track, going into the radial DI box, as we have been doing with the lead parts. And we're printing the insert effects, so we're committing this to Pro Tools. I'm going to give you a demo of how it actually sounds. I'm going to go through and show you what all of the plugins are doing, so I'm just going to disable all of them for now. This is what the guitar sounds like with the amp sound that we dialed in. That's a little bit harsh. So the first thing that I did was introduce the EQ. Now I'm going to turn this on. As we're playing, I'm going to try and play the guitar and flip this on and off just so you can hear what this notch out frequency is doing. Very important because it's definitely present within the mix without it. So let's see if we can turn it on and off as I'm playing the guitar. The main problem frequency was that one at 2K. Very, very narrow Q. And then hopefully you could hear what I was doing with the top end as well and the low mids. Just to get it sounding a little bit more natural to the ear. It sounded quite harsh to me with that frequency, and so take it out. Then we've got the Neve 1073. This isn't doing a great deal. It's very subtle what it does. It just adds a bit of colour to the overall sound of the guitar. Very, very subtle, just taking away a little bit more top end. There's a little bit of a gain reduction as well. I took the output gain down slightly, so you might hear a jump in the overall volume. The thing I've learned with plugins in terms of compression and EQ, or even just adding saturation, is don't overdo it. If it takes 2 or 3 plugins to get the sound with just a little bit on each one of them, then do it that way, because it can quite easily get very messed up very quickly. Then we've got the Studer tape machine. Again, this is just rolling off a little bit more of the harsh top end frequencies. Let's see if we can hear the difference. This plugin is just awesome. It just works for anything. Just got to play around with the settings and just try and find something that works for the song. And then the last stage is the API. And again, this is just adding a little bit more saturation and rolling off some of the unwanted sub-frequencies in the very low end. So the main thing that we are hearing is a big level decrease. I've got the gain set to what matches the playback of Pro Tools. You're probably just hearing a major jump, but again, it's collectively what all these are doing, which is the important part. And I'm just going to give you another quick demo of that. I'll turn them on and off.